What's up, guys? I'm Nell.
And I'm KJ.
And we're the hosts of Millennial Talk.
Alright, guys, so today we're joined by our co-host, Courtney.
So today our topic is going to be something that was requested, and it was requested by one of our followers on Instagram, Desi024, and she wants us to talk about how millennials have changed how we use things like cable and landlines. So how do you guys use, do you guys use it? Do you not use it? Do you have it? No?
I'm 50% because I use cable and I use the new stuff that we have nowadays, so I'm 50-50.
Okay, so yeah, I think that I don't use a landline, but I was gonna say that I use cable, but I actually don't. I have it, but I don't use it.
For me, I don't know, I always find it weird, when I hear people oh, did you see it on TV? I'm like, no. Even with the show The Floor, I watch all the episodes on YouTube. I just wait 2 days for somebody to put it up, and then I watch it because I don't know. I think we just shifted so much out of cable and landlines. When I'm filling out an application and it asks for my home phone, I'm it's my mobile phone.
Yeah.
So it's just
it'll be home, work, cell, and it'll be the same number phone.
Yeah. I remember back in the day we used to have different numbers. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't do cable anymore. I have my Fire Stick. I have Netflix, Hulu,
YouTube Red, all that kind of stuff. There's so many different things now.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. That's not something that I really use anymore.
But I think that that's interesting that our generation has kind of moved away from doing that. And I'm also curious to know how that is affecting those companies. For example, Xfinity or DirecTV or whatever. How are they in their business being affected by the fact that people aren't paying for all those packages to get HBO and Stars and all those, fancy channels or whatever because we're not using them, or we're using them on other, we're using the shows, I don't know, is Power on Netflix?
It's on Showtime.
But I mean, can you watch it on Netflix?
No.
Oh, okay.
You can find it somewhere.
Yeah,
you can find it somewhere.
And there are also
not,
sites that you can go to.
Facebook even.
I haven't used one of those in so long. I know that they were the government was really cracking down on them, and it was hard to use them and stuff. But I know that they exist, so I don't know if people out there are still using them. But it's there are so many ways to be able to watch movies and TV and stuff that it's the idea of sitting down in front of a TV at 7 o'clock or at 8 o'clock to watch a show, it's why would I do that when I can either use a DVR and record it, or I can watch it on demand the next day, or I can binge watch the whole season. That's how I felt about Riverdale. I didn't watch the last season whatever of Riverdale because I was why would I sit down and watch it every single week when I can just binge watch it when it goes on Netflix?
Yes, that's how I feel about so many shows.
See, me, what I like to do is I have Comcast internet because all my stuff runs off of internet in the house. I have to, you're in college, you need internet. That's a given. It's not like back in the day where it was dial up. You had to wait. Somebody was on the phone, and then you're oh God, you need to get off the internet because I'm on the phone type of thing. I need the internet. And then with cable, I do have Netflix and all the other stuff and HBO Go and all that stuff, but I use DirecTV because I have a Roku stick, and it's DirecTV was doing a deal because I like watching live award shows.
That's literally the only reason why I still have cable is because of award shows. If it wasn't, if award shows didn't exist, I'd have got rid of my cable package a long time ago.
And actually, I actually do have cable in the house, but I don't use it.
Yeah.
The only reason I have it is because it's cheaper to.
It comes with a package.
Yeah, for internet, they're oh, you can get this speed if you have cable, and I'm okay, well, give me cable. And I'm how much more is it? It's only $5 more. I'm okay then. Because I just want the internet, so I guess I'll take a land phone and a landline, and I'll take the cable and whatever else you give me. I just want the internet. So.
And it's also, I think that it's interesting that it feels like anything that you could watch on TV, you can watch on one of those streaming. And even I forgot about Amazon Prime. Don't they have some kind of streaming, whatever? So it's you can watch regular shows. You can watch regular shows on Netflix or Apple TV, I think, has a thing. There's so many different website streaming app things where you can watch regular TV, and then those streaming sites have their own original shows that you can't watch on regular TV.
Yeah,
you can't.
And you know what I think is pretty cool? I don't think it's just our generation that uses it. My dad uses it. My grandmother uses it. So my grandmother loves to watch. She only watches cable for the news or for like her
You don't
Lifetime
even need cable
movies,
for the
but
news.
other than that, she'll watch everything else on Netflix. She goes, "Oh, did you see this on Netflix?" And this is stuff I ain't even heard or seen yet. And then my dad, he uses Amazon Fire Stick and different things like that. So there's so many people who, not just our generation, who don't care for cable anymore, because everything you can get on cable, you can get online. All you gotta do is wait a day.
And it's so much cheaper just
Exactly.
to not because cable is expensive, $200, $300. Like nobody trying to spend that much money on stuff when you could just go online and watch it for free. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have all these like extra things. I literally only have like Netflix, but it's like I have websites that I watch stuff on. That is for free. Probably not supposed to be using it, but it's for
and
free.
even the networks like MTV and like Freeform, like you can go onto
Have
their
their apps,
websites and you
yeah.
can watch the shows that you
Yeah.
missed on their site.
You
So
can
it's
use
like,
the apps too.
what
It's
do
so
you
cool.
even need cable for?
Exactly.
And it's interesting that you said, because you was like, the only reason why you need cable is to watch like the news and stuff. And you said you don't even need cable for that.
Yeah.
And you're so right, because like I know most of the news that I get from like Twitter,
Same.
Instagram, or
The Shade
y'all.
Room.
Yeah, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's like between social media, it's like I'm just wondering, will there ever come a day where cable doesn't exist anymore?
I think so, but that's gonna be like very
Years from
detrimental to a lot of actors and actresses out there.
But will it? You think so?
I don't think so because
I
I
do.
think you can still have like they don't necessarily have to have cable. It's not like those networks can still run. Like Fox can still happen.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
could just be Fox Online. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
But I think about the shows that like, not saying that like some of these shows are just that I guess maybe it's just me, I don't like them. But I think there's some shows that come on that you literally just watch, like back when people just had cable.
Mm-hmm.
You watched the show just because it was the thing that came on before you was going to watch it, and you didn't want to miss it. So a lot of these shows, they were there just because of that. And a lot of these talk show hosts and a lot of these actors and actresses, they got a lot of playtime. And a lot of people know them and saw them just because it's the thing that came on before people actually wanted to see whatever they want to see.
That
Yeah, I
is
see
true.
what
you're saying.
I don't.
I used to
don't
do that
disagree
all
with
the
that.
time.
So like those actors who really aren't like on and popping and that aren't really big, for them trying to, put out a new show, it's gonna be hard for them to get like feedback with people. Like they're gonna need somebody to bring clout and everything with them just to get people to watch them. So that's what I think is gonna be a detriment to that industry.
I can see that because I'm thinking about shows that like I never watched or like never knew exist. Like I found out about by accident, basically like Degrassi.
Yeah.
Degrassi is one of my favorite shows like of all time, and it wasn't like I knew the show was coming out and saw the ads back in
Yeah.
season 1. It was like my channel just so happened. My TV just so happened to be on the end for some reason.
Yeah.
And an episode came on. I was like, "Ooh, what's this?"
Yeah.
Like I didn't
Same.
actively go seeking
like,
it out. And it's
nobody
like
thought
if
about
that had
Degrassi.
never happened, I would have never seen Degrassi. My life would be so much different if I had never seen Degrassi. I wouldn't even be who I am today if I had never seen
It's
Degrassi.
not that deep.
Wow.
I would have never been who I am
Yes,
today.
I've been a whole other
without
person if I had never
Degrassi.
seen Degrassi. So it's like I see what you're saying
Yeah.
about not getting the exposure that you could get if you have to go onto Netflix and select a show. The chances of you selecting, a show that maybe doesn't have like famous, certain
Yeah.
people on it you might not know about. Like I didn't know that is her name Debbie Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has a show on Netflix, or I don't know if it's out yet, if it's coming out, but people are trying to cancel
does?
it. Yeah,
Had no
people
idea.
they're
They're trying
trying
to cancel
they're trying to
it.
get it
Why?
canceled. But I didn't even know that the show existed until they were trying to get it canceled, and that's how I found out. They want to get it canceled because they're saying the viewers, or some of the viewers, like got together and they created this protest thing saying they want it canceled, they want it taken down because it has something to do. I think the premise is like this girl who's like really overweight has some kind of health problem or something, and she ends up losing weight because of her health problem. But then as a result of her losing weight, she goes from being like this loser to being like this popular girl who's a cheerleader now, whatever.
It's kind of like a
The
connotation
body,
about how
yeah,
they're saying that
yeah.
if you're bigger, you can't be popular.
But it's not to be rude, and it's not. But like all the movies are like that nowadays. So like all
I
the
don't
TV shows
disagree,
are like
but
that
what I thought
nowadays.
was interesting was that the viewers felt, saw it that way, where it's like, oh, like this is, what do they call it, fat shaming or body
Yeah.
shaming or
But
something
that's
like
like,
that.
I feel like it just depends on the person, because that's basically what The Rock did when he what was the movie called with him and Kevin Hart,
Oh,
when he was
yeah.
like big and he was a loser, and then
And that's
he got
interesting because that was a
swole.
guy and this is a girl. So I'm
Yeah.
wondering if
And
she
people
were a
love that
girl.
movie.
Yeah,
And they
I
do.
wonder if she were a guy. If the show was about a guy
Yeah.
that did
They
this.
wouldn't have said nothing.
If people, yeah, that's
They
true.
wouldn't have. They wouldn't have said
But
nothing.
the writer or the creator or someone is saying that that's not what it was intended to do. They're not trying to make it seem like, oh, if you're skinny, you're more popular. She actually was saying that this was something that I think she went through, or someone that she's close to went through, where she was overweight and had something, whatever, and lost the weight. and she became more popular. But I think, and that's why I think that maybe the show's not out yet, because maybe that's why the viewers don't know this yet. But I think that maybe if you get further into the show, you'll see that even though she has lost the weight and she is really popular, she's still unhappy. Like it's not like losing weight and being skinny makes you happy, you know what I mean? You still have problems. So I think that's kind of where the show is going, but like I said, I'm not sure if it's out yet, and that might be why the viewers are like, I don't know, take this down, like don't put this out or whatever.
People be doing too much.
They do, but I feel like they can relate to that, because like that stuff still happens now. Like that current, like people will be big and all of a sudden they lose weight and everyone's like, oh my god, we love you, you're skinny. Like that's not okay. Like you didn't like them before, why like them now?
True.
They didn't change.
Big facts.
They just all of a sudden lost some weight, so now they look cute. They look good before, they just weren't your preference.
But I said all that to say that show, I didn't even know that show existed or was coming out until the controversy about it came out, and I was like, what, she got a show? Like, what's going on? I had no idea. So like I see what you're saying about how certain shows might not get the exposure that they need to get in order to be popular or whatever.
If you think back, like way when they only had like a couple channels on your TV, like Good Times, like I love that show. Good Times, you just whenever the show came on, like you was ready for it. But had we had other options, like so many other options, and this show comes on, we're just gonna be like, okay, next, like because we have other shows we want to watch, but because that was a show that like came on before maybe something else we wanted to watch, or it was all we had to watch. It's something that we grew to love, and we grew to love the characters. But you make a show like that now, it's not gonna get as much love.
Yeah.
But going off of what you said, I think about that because I watch Wheel of Fortune and like Family Feud and all that stuff. I probably want to watch that before. Like I want to watch it before.
Family Feud is my show.
No, but but for real fast
as
money.
A kid, like
I watched it as a kid. What you mean?
And I know, but when I was younger, I used to watch soap operas because my grandmother was watching soap operas.
I was like 6 years old watching Bold and Beautiful and
Days
Young
of
and the
Our
Restless.
Lives. It was
As the World Turns.
Stupid.
It was, but that's my passions. I'm telling you.
It's interesting. It's interesting because I didn't even think all the way back, because you was like, oh, remember when like TV only had like a couple channels? Like it's just interesting to see how far we've come.
Yeah.
We've gone from having like maybe like 10 channels that were in black and white to having color, to now we have like 1,000 channels. Now we have 1,000 channels that nobody's watching because everybody's watching TV on apps and online and on Netflix and Hulu. And
or they get on for 2 channels, but they pay like 300.
And then it's like those 1,000 channels are repeats of channels because it's MTV, MTV2, MTV East.
Oh my
God. Like, why you got that many channels?
Bruh.
HBO East.
Do you remember when there was like, I don't think this exists anymore. Maybe you have to have DirecTV to have it, and I don't have DirecTV, maybe, so I don't know. But there used to be Nick Gas, Nick 2, Nick Tunes, and The End.
I do remember that.
And then
there was like 5 different Nick channels.
And it was like Cartoon Network, and it was like Boomerang.
Yeah.
And it was like another Cartoon Network, all them other stuff, and like Disney.
I think they still have that.
Disney.
I feel like maybe 10 years ago, having all those channels was popular. Like when people came to high school, like, yo, you got channels.
Yeah.
So it was just like such a popular thing. And then after that kind of transition, it transitioned into, yo, you got DVR? You can record the shows now? Because I remember back when I lived in Virginia, this is when like the Cheetah Girls and like High School Musical came out. I wish I could have recorded those.
Oh, yes.
Because
could you
I
imagine
I
recording High School Musical?
Yes.
Play it back again.
'Cause I remember it was like it would be like a High School Musical movie coming on that night, and it'd be like 6 p.m. coming on, and we at church. I'm like, Mom, I know it's Wednesday night and we got Bible study, but we need to get home. We got 30 minutes till Cheetah Girl come on, so High School Musical come on. We gotta get there because I will miss it. And I remember being so hurt when I got home and it was like 30 minutes into the movie, and I couldn't watch the full thing, and then I get to school and all my friends talking about, oh my God, did you see the so it's just like you don't have to worry about that now, but like in the past, like we really had to worry about those things.
Do you remember? I don't know if you guys ever did this, but did you ever have like record like DVR is like the electronic version of what I used to do anyway, which was take like a VHS. And you could record TV shows like on your VHS.
Oh, I remember that.
And you record over it?
Yeah.
I never knew how to do that.
I used to do that.
I never knew how to do it.
Okay, this has nothing to do with TV, but I just want to see if you guys did it. Do you guys remember when you had like you had to buy ringtones for your phone.
Oh, yeah.
So instead of buying ringtones, you put the voice
You would do it like this
and put it up to the
close
radio.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then I was watching a video the other day and it was like, shh, everybody in the room, shh. And they'd be like, hey, it's your girl Shaquii on the phone. If you want to holler at me, let me know. My number is 410.
Yes.
And then it'd be like, and you hear that music in the background talking about some Neo so sick.
And Verizon had that whole the ringtones. They always had the please let them know where your party is reached.
Oh, yeah.
And you get to pick the song.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I always wanted that. Now I don't care about it. Now it's 4. Oh.
Yeah. I don't even have like a voice message thing.
Either.
It's just
It's
like
just
whatever the lady say, that's what she say. Like I don't even know.
I hate when they're like, you probably hear something like, Courtney. And I'm like, Courtney? Like, and then call me a day.
But
So like for landlines, I don't have a landline.
I don't either.
But and maybe it's because I don't have like my own like house, if that makes sense. So if I were to move and like get my own house, my own apartment, I don't know if I would have a landline or not. Because I'm thinking about like my voicemail. Like I would want like a voicemail that says like you've reached the home of so and so, blah blah blah. But it's like I don't have that.
see, my dad still has a landline.
Really?
In my mom's house in Georgia, we don't.
I think
have
my
a
parents
landline.
do.
We don't have a landline anymore. Like in my back home, at my dad's house, he definitely has a landline. And I don't know. Like I always think about it because like whenever I'm about to call him and I'm thinking, oh, I can just call the house phone. I'm just like, why do they still have a house phone? So
You say, why do they still have a house?
yeah, because like I don't know whoever calls it. Like it rings all the time. But I'm just thinking, like, who actually...
Bill collectors?
Yeah. But I'm just like, but why? I feel like my grandmother may call it, too. But I just
I feel like older people call it a landline.
Because
And then younger
my
people
grandmother
don't.
has a cell phone, too. So at this point, it's just like, what's the point in landlines?
But do you think that the reason why it's cheaper to get all three is because they know that if it was less expensive to just get internet, then nobody would buy landlines and cable?
I think the reason why companies are pushing these bundles for internet, cable, and
Wi-Fi.
and phones, landlines, is because they already have the equipment. And if they had to get rid of that equipment,
That's what I'm saying.
That's a big expense.
That's what I'm saying. Like if it was cheaper to just get Wi-Fi, nobody would buy the cable or the landline stuff, which means that they would have this equipment or have these workers or whatever that they're not doing nothing. It's not it's not making them any money.
Yeah.
So in order to make money out of it, they bundle it in with the stuff they know that you actually want.
And it's also creating jobs, giving them more money, all these different things. So I understand why they're doing it. I just don't care for it.
Yeah. But I think I'm just wondering, like, will Comcast or Verizon or DirecTV or whoever, whatever cable companies are out there,
I miss Cox Cable.
will they? I don't know what that is.
Oh my God, Virginia,
Yes.
Virginia thing.
Cox Cable.
I love Comcast. It's basically Comcast, but better.
But will they ever? And I feel like, do you think that they'll ever have to get to a point where they'll either have to go out of business because Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and all them are going to run them out of business? Or do you think that Comcast or, all these different whatever cable providers are going to have to conform and create their own, like, online, like if Comcast had their own, like, Comcast originals that you could only get if you had Comcast, or, like, if Verizon only had, like, Fios originals you could only get if you had, you know what I mean?
They're slowly there, only because I know for a fact, like, when I wasn't sure if I was going to get anything, like, Yoshi would let me use her internet thing in the stream online. So it's like they do have their online thing that they can stream online.
But I mean, like, they would have original shows. Yeah. Like having like YouTube Red has like YouTube Red originals. Like Hulu has shows like, I forget what it's called, but Liza Koshy was on a show that was on Hulu. I think it was called Freakish. Yeah, I think it's called Freakish.
The Mindy Project.
Yeah, like there are certain shows.
Because Mindy had to go on there because they canceled on Fox. That's the only reason.
Or like how Netflix has like Stranger Things and Dear White People. Like you can't see Stranger Things on Hulu, or you can't see whatever's on Amazon Prime on Netflix. Like, will Comcast and Fios and DirecTV and all that, will they have to start creating shows that you can only get if you get their package to get people to want to buy their package?
I think on top of that, they're going to lower their prices.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can't compete with, I'm only paying $7.99 a month for this. I'm paying $13.99 a month to watch all these shows. And you're saying I got to pay $100-something just so I can get one original show from you? Just kidding.
So what happens when it becomes like? What if it becomes not a buyer's market?
What I think is going to happen is they're going to make some type of deal with one of these places, with Netflix, Hulu, whatever, to where they can start streaming their shows or things like that through Netflix, through Hulu. They're going to have to, because if they don't,
what do you mean?
They're slowly doing that already, because like
that's
Fire
what I was like, what do you mean?
Fire Stick and Roku and like all those stuff. Like I only got
like,
the
with
DirecTV.
the actual like platforms, like with Netflix and Hulu and things like that.
Yeah, like DirecTV,
Amazon.
I only got DirecTV because of Roku.
Like you know how you can catch a new episode every week on actual cable TV. I think they're gonna I feel like they're gonna start doing that, but putting it on like Netflix and putting on Hulu and things like that. So they kind of do that on Hulu already, but like only with certain shows. But I feel like they're gonna transition most of their shows onto these different platforms.
So you're saying that like Stranger Things, instead of it being on Netflix where you can binge watch it, they're gonna move it to cable so it will come on weekly?
No.
Well, I don't understand what you're saying.
Something like Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And how it comes on weekly. It doesn't come on Netflix or Hulu or anything like that. And it's going to start coming on weekly through Netflix. So people who buy Netflix, it's kind of going to be like a joint type of thing, to where like if
that's
you
what
have Netflix,
I was about to
ask
you.
You can start streaming.
I was about to say, like, do you think that, because you were saying like, oh, I'm not going to buy this package, whatever, because I'm only going to get, like, just for that one show, whatever, I'm not going to buy, spend this monthly package, whatever, for this one show. Do you think that it's going to come to a point where Hulu and Netflix and all these different places or whatever are going to start like bargaining with the networks of like Fox and things? Like right now, like for example, like Riverdale is on Netflix. I don't know if it's on Hulu, but I know it's on Netflix.
I mean, they already...
So like, will Hulu and Netflix fight over like Riverdale? Like, is it like, how like with like basketball players, how there's like contracts, like, and their contract is up. Like, is Hulu gonna try to jump in there?
I'm not sure, because something like Grey's Anatomy is both on Hulu and Netflix. But the reason why I watch Grey's Anatomy on Hulu rather than Netflix is because Hulu will have updated episodes. They update it on
and then you have to wait
every
on Netflix.
week. Yeah, on Netflix you gotta wait for the whole season to come out.
Yeah.
So like Hulu's kind of already on that vibe. They're kind of on that wave of where like, okay, you show this on TV, you show this on whatever, we're gonna show it the next day. That way people can watch it. It'll be uploaded. All you have to do is have a subscription to Hulu. So pretty much Hulu's getting paid, and the television providers getting paid, or the network, wherever their agreement is. And Netflix doesn't really have like that type of thing, but Netflix also has like a lot of originals that a lot of people like. And I kind of think like when Netflix first started doing originals, people were like, what, Netflix originals? But now like people are like yes, like, oh, new Netflix original, what is this about?
That was a good
so
show.
like, cause I know me, like I was kind of like bougie towards them. Like when I first saw Netflix original, I'm like, excuse me, like where's the real movies at? Where's the real shows?
Do you remember when Netflix wasn't like an online thing, when it was like a subscription, like Blockbuster, where you had to like order it and they mailed you a DVD that you like Redbox, and you had to mail it back?
That was a thing.
And it's funny. I think it's when I heard someone talk about. Oh, did you know like Netflix is doing this DVD thing? And I'm like, that's what they used to do.
Right.
Like,
that's where they came from.
Right.
What you mean?
Started from DVD.
Right, now we're here.
Right.
No, but it's funny because I think that the only thing I think that like Comcast and Verizon will be good for is the internet, because we have to get the internet. Like all the stuff is online, so we need the internet.
Will Hulu and Netflix eventually start offering internet service?
Yeah,
that would be lit. That would be lit.
Because we're talking about this. I'm not going to say where, but there are different companies that are getting into different fields. And for example, you have a company like Google. Imagine Google Health, them becoming a health insurance company.
Oh dear.
Wow.
I don't want Google to own anything else. Google is a monopoly. They own almost everything. Just like Disney,
they
own everything.
And listen, they can take over with that. They're already Google, or like Apple Health or Apple something.
Oh my gosh. That scares me.
Right. And it's just like, oh, right now I have Medicare. I
got Apple.
I got Apple Health now.
I hate that.
Like, just think about this.
I was scared of people like,
I hate that
what?
so much.
It's like going to be so much of a competition. It was like,
I hate that.
Okay, like,
I'm like, I got Google.
there's like, I might be like a TV streaming service, but now let me see what health insurance is about,
I hate that. Just like how IHOP decided they wanted to be IHOP. Like,
it was like a week though. Luckily it was only a week, thank God. They went back.
But like they about to give companies the idea that they can start crossing over. Oh my god.
I was so scared that week.
I'm stressed.
Yeah,
the future is scary.
It
but like think about it, like people have been doing it all the time, like all along. like just think about fast food restaurants where they only serve like lunch or or just like dinner. Now it's I
like how Taco Bell
breakfast.
serves breakfast
I
now,
was like, I serve
or how they
breakfast
start
all
selling
day.
fries now.
Yeah, I was just
All
like,
that, I
what?
don't try none of that stuff, like how like Subway has certain sandwiches and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not trying none of that stuff. I'm like, it's certain things should only have certain things, like just
basically
leave alone.
these TV providers. Listen, y'all gonna
Taking
have to
over.
hop on board with Netflix and Hulu and
Or
Amazon
Hulu and
Prime,
Netflix need to start offering internet, because I will do that.
Facts, me too.
I will hop on a Netflix internet service before I hop
Big
on
facts.
some kind of Comcast Verizon original show. Like, nah.
Exactly. Like, I was just thinking about it. Google had they have their phone service now.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they do,
yeah.
they do.
And then Comcast has a phone service now.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Like cell phone service?
Yeah, cell
Yeah,
phone
they do.
service.
True.
They do.
Okay.
They have a cell phone service.
I'm
And
not
it's-
aware of that.
But I think they use like Verizon lines or whatever. So they mention to people like, hey, this is a Verizon phone, but you get the Verizon service, which means you get the same coverage but for a cheaper price. And they'd be like, got me, here's my money.
Interesting.
So yeah, they do, and you have the same thing with like the whole Straight Talk thing, because that's when they do like Verizon. So it's just like all these different companies, they're finding their way around, and they get in there where they fit in.
That's
and
how they get you. Oh my
you know,
gosh.
you gotta get on board. You gotta get on board.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I think 2019 and on is
Oh
it's
God!
gonna be scary,
Stop!
man.
Don't
It's
even
gonna
say
be
2019.
scary.
The fact that it's close to being 2019. already.
True.
Oh my God!
Less than 6 months away.
What?
That's
We're
wild.
already halfway done with the year.
Yeah.
Oh God! Wow.
Oh God. That's crazy.
Wow.
Alright guys, so that is the end of this video. Comment down below what you think about cable and landlines and like Netflix and Hulu and Comcast and like what you have and what you pay for and what you're not about to pay for, what you would want to see in the future or what you don't want to see in the future.
Yeah, and please let us know what else you want to talk about in the future. We love talking about different topics. We love learning about new things. So if there's something that we haven't exactly experienced, we'd love to learn more about it. And if we can probably connect it to something that we have experienced, we'll definitely talk about it.
And thank you to Desi024 for sending us this topic.
Yes, thank you so much.
So if you guys have topic
Truly
ideas,
appreciate you.
send those in.
And one last
Yes.
thing before y'all come at me in the comments, it's actually stars that powers on. That's your time. I just want to say that. Want to clarify? I messed up.
Yes,
Just
please
saying.
clarify because those power fans will.
They will come from my
Yes,
back.
you, Dad.
They're a little strong, so I promise to be okay. Thank you.
Make sure you like this video and subscribe, of course, if you are not already subscribed to see more videos for us every Sunday at 12.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Bye.